I'd like to call to order the Memorial Naming Committee for April 18th, 2024. First off, this is our first meeting. I'd like to introduce the members on the committee. My name is Fran Whalen. I'm with the Town Council. This is Mimi Thoreau. She's a council person also. We have Michael Murphy. He's the town staff. We're missing a couple people from the public, Steve Slattery and Sandy Kelly. We're going to have a public comment. This portion of the meeting specifically set aside for comments from the public. You're asked to limit your comments to 2 minutes, please. Any person interested in providing public comment remotely should email the town prior to 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting, which time a link will be provided for you to attend the meeting, as well as instructions how to participate. Anybody from the public wish to comment? Step up. Please state your name and your address, please.
Michael Devaney, 53 Berkshire Road. Good evening. Thanks for hearing me. I wrote this request to the naming committee to honor a friend, a public servant, and a veteran, Captain James Lamar. It's a little over 2 years since Captain Lamar passed. Captain Lamar, Jim, to all of us, served this community for many years in many different ways. You couldn't miss seeing him around town, helping people in any way he could. I believe he should be named, and I request he should be honored in the renaming of Pratt Street Extension in memoriam in his honor. Jim, who gave wholeheartedly to his occupation, to fire service, and also to community service. If you knew Jim, this shouldn't be a tough decision. I think he would be completely humbled and honored to have this in his name. With all the heartfelt words I can come up with, it would never be enough to show how much kindness he gave to everyone. He was our friend. We all miss him very much. To Michelle, Chris, and Kara, it would be an honor to have this in his memory right next to where he rests. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Please step up, state your name and address, please.
Hi, Madison Devaney, 53 Berkshire Road. Good evening. Today I stand before you to discuss a matter of great importance, a matter that honors a man of dedication and service to our community. I am here to advocate for the naming of Pratt Street Extension in memory of the late Captain James Lamar. It has been a little over 2 years since we have mourned the loss of our dear friend Jim. His service to our community spanned over many years in several different ways, and his impact has been felt by everyone. Jim has embodied the spirit of our community. He served for our country, and upon his return, dedicated his life to serving our community as a firefighter. His service extended beyond the call of duty. Jim was a pillar of our community, always ready to lend a helping hand, a shoulder to cry on, or a word of encouragement. A street named in his honor would serve as a constant reminder of his service, sacrifice, and his love for the community. It would be a tribute to the man who gave so much and asked for so little in return. As we come to a conclusion of this speech, we remember the legacy Jim has left. These 2 years have been rough on all of us, and I feel that I can speak for the majority. We miss Jim with all of our hearts. This would be a privilege for Michelle, Chris, and Kara to have the street where Jim lies to be named after him. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to consider this important matter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public wish to speak?
Good evening, Rich Renstrom, 88 Bayberry Lane. So this is kind of a no-brainer. I've known Jim it doesn't matter, but his service to the country and the community, we worked together for 20 years, and he was the most unselfish person, and this would be an honor for him. So with your consideration, I would appreciate the renaming of that small stretch of Pratt Street Extension. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Okay. Thank you all for speaking.
Should I read Sandy's comments?
Yes. Okay. Thanks.
Hi, I have a written comment from Sandy Kelly. She's a member of this committee. Since I can't be at the meeting tonight, I would like to submit my comments regarding renaming the Dividend/Pratt Road extension for Captain James Lemire. Pratt Street was named for a significant figure in Rocky Hill's history, General James Timothy Pratt. He was a successful Hartford businessman who owned most of the land on its south side. He was a general in the militia in the mid-1800s, a delegate from Rocky Hill and Weathersfield to the Connecticut General Assembly, and was a congressman from 1883 to 1855. Much more has been written about General Pratt by town historian Bob Heron, but this gives us an idea of his stature during his lifetime. I hesitate to add another name to a street which honors an important figure in Rocky Hill history. I agree with finding a way to honor Jim Lemire, but would like to consider a street or road that isn't already named for someone. Thank you, Sandy Kelly.
Thank you. Move on to a discussion and possible action. The mayor received a request for the renaming of Pratt Street Extension to Captain James Lemire Way by Michael Devaney, as we just heard from him. Our job as a committee, from our town charter, I just want to touch on, is the duty of the Memorial Committee is to review nominations for individuals who have made a significant contribution to bettering the lives of the residents in Rocky Hill. I'm open for any discussion from our committee.
I guess I'll move that we accept the renaming of the Pratt Street extension. Just to clarify, that's the strip by the cemetery aimed after James Lemire.
I'll second that.
I have a comment.
Yes. With discussion.
Quick discussion, yeah. What we usually do is what we did for Old Forge Road. We'll keep Pratt Street there, but we'll have a memorial plaque above that, probably the same color pattern as we have for Old Forge. So it would be Memorial Highway or Memorial, road, however we will.
Like they have on the highway, those stretches of
Right.
highway that you can name for
Yeah,
people, that type
yeah,
of.
yeah.
So in actuality, the Pratt Street Extension will stay that name and have the memorial plaque above it. I as well received some information from the Historical Society. I just want to pass on a little bit of information about Pratt Street, and it was named after General James Timothy Pratt. He was born in 1802. He died in 1887. He was 85 years old. For most accounts, he was born and raised in Cromwell, which was a section of Middletown at the time. At age 21, he was a successful businessman in Hartford for Housemere Dry Goods Store. He rose to the rank of general in the state militia in the mid-1800s. In the early 1840s, he moved to Rocky Hill and bought a large farm in the area that we know known as Pratt Street and extended to the Connecticut River and south to Cromwell. While in Rocky Hill, he raised 7 children. He was a congressman from 1855 to 1883, and he twice ran for governor in our state. Later in his life, he did move to Weathersfield, where he passed on, and he's buried there in Weathersfield. So he was quite the person as well as James Lemire. Any further discussion do we have? Okay. All in favor of renaming Pratt Street Extension to James Lemire, Captain James Lemire Way? Aye.
Aye.
I see none opposed. I believe that motion will carry. Any further topics to discuss tonight?
Just questioning whether we should reserve the third Thursdays or do quarterly meetings some way so that we know when our meetings are going to be.
Okay,
for our-
that's a good idea.
So I think that if manager can ask Daniel to look at, I mean, I'm okay with either way, but just it's easier to know that, okay,
Oh, sure.
reserve that day, and if we don't have a meeting, great. If we do, great, we're here.
6 o'clock, good.
6 o'clock works, because I think for anybody that works. I'm retired, so I don't, I'm cool anytime.
is good.
And the only other thing, I mean, I noticed when looking at the rules that, and not just with this matter, but there's, you know, streets and there's rooms with, we can name almost anything for anybody, you know, landscaping, trees.
Right,
right.
And so forth. So that's just something I think on the town website, not everybody knows how to do that. And maybe we need to have maybe a little blurb about what we actually do and what the things are so that people would know what they may ask for.
The town manager's executive assistant was very helpful when I called to ask.
Yes, but I mean,
Very helpful.
he's a busy dude, so if we can have it more self-explanatory, because I asked a few of my friends too, do you know how to do it, and they said no. So,
True.
yeah, and he is very helpful, but he's got, especially with budget time, he's very busy, so if we can have it so it's more self-explanatory, that would be helpful.
We will do that.
Thank you. Okay.
I guess the minutes we really can't approve, because none of us read.
No, those minutes will remain unapproved
Okay.
in history, yes.
It's an ad hoc committee, so we can come and
We
go,
weren't
so
here.
it's just, you know. Anything
That's
else?
it.
Move to adjourn?
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Thank you all for coming.
Mimi, can you hit that switch?